Number 9. Google Earth. Wait, what is Google Earth? It's a computer program that renders a 3D representation of Earth based primarily on satellite imagery. Cool, right? Imagine how difficult it must have been for explorers like Marco Polo and Columbus. Nowadays, you can literally sit in the comfort of your home and get high-resolution satellite images and tools like Google Earth. Anyone with an internet connection can see what's going on in the world with basically a fine-toothed comb. Comb the desert! Does anyone get that reference? No? Okay, moving on. This isn't just for people bored in their house either. Google Earth has even helped researchers discover previously unknown ruins, and cops find fields of illegal plants and stuff. Virtual exploration technology has advanced with satellite footage, capturing the world in the most amazing detail. Sometimes a little too much detail, especially if you're up to no good. Like this guy. What is happening here? Number 8. Iraq's Bloody Lake. When noticed in 2007, this blood-red lake outside Iraq's Sadr city amassed a fair share of frightening speculation as to the mysterious phenomenon. The stretch of water called Lago Vermelho is found right outside the suburb of Baghdad in an area that's not heavily populated. The lake runs through the city and is separated with sections of crossings and concrete. After the lake was revealed to the world and sparked many people to think it had to be blood, people began to get worried. Was it blood? There has not yet been any official statements released to the world as to why the water is bright red, but according to information received from a source, Time reported that surrounding the lake are a number of slaughterhouses. This has not been confirmed, but it has been said that blood from the slaughterhouses ran into the water, turning it into a creepy, bloody lake. No one has offered an official explanation, but it's more than likely the color comes from sewage, pollution, or a water treatment process. If you look at the lake on Google Earth, the water has now been returned back to its normal color, leaving the blood-red lake to remain as one of Google Earth's many mysteries. Number 7. Kazakhstan Geoglyphs. A massive swastika and 50 other geoglyphs were found in the northern Kazakhstan desert by keen observers on Google Earth. Designed in a variety of shapes including squares, rings, and crosses, the earthen mounds are very similar to the famous Nazca lines in Peru, where various animal shapes were first spotted in the 1920s. Ranging from 295 to a whopping 1,312 feet in diameter, the designs are hard to spot on the ground, but they come fully into focus when viewed from the air. With some longer than a modern-day aircraft, the glyphs were examined by an archaeological team from Kazakhstan's Kostanay University, who used ground-penetrating radars along with aerial photos to survey the shapes. Further archaeological excavations revealed the designs housed hidden structures and hearths near the glyphs, which suggests the area was once used for ritualistic practices in the past. Ancient tribes may have also used the images as a way to mark their ownership of the land for other tribes. Although it may seem shocking to see a swastika among the symbols, the design is a common one around the world and did not always have the same negative connotation that it did after Nazi Germany adopted it to symbolize hate. In ancient Sanskrit, the word for swastika means well-being. Did you know that? It's also been used by Buddhists and Hindus for millennia. As Western travelers took on the architectural motif, its popularity spread, with companies such as Coca-Cola and the Boy Scouts using it in various ways. But when the Nazis rose to power in the 1930s, it took on a whole different meaning. Number 6. Guitar-shaped garden. Not all finds on Google Earth can send a chill up your spine when you see them. Music lovers might get a kick out of the guitar-shaped forest spotted in Argentina's Pampas agricultural region. But the design has a more heart-wrenching explanation than our previous story. Made from 7,000 cypress and eucalyptus trees, the design, which stretches 2/3 of a mile, was built by a heartbroken man after the death of his wife. Aww. Now 71 years old, Pedro Martin Ureta worked with his 4 children to plant the trees in honor of his wife, Garciela, who inspired him to build the garden after the two spotted a local farm that resembled a milking pail while flying overhead. His wife's love of the guitar shape inspired her to propose the idea of making a giant guitar-shaped design on their farm, but after dying suddenly in 1977, her wish would go unfulfilled. That is, until a few years later, when Pedro decided to honor his wife's wish and set out to plant the 7,000 trees in the shape of a guitar, using the cypress trees to build the body of the instrument and the blue eucalyptus trees to represent the strings. This loving tribute is one that may only be seen by those who happen to be flying overhead, but it is a truly heartwarming gesture, one man's love for his wife that leaves a lasting impression. That's so sweet, right? What's the sweetest thing someone ever did for you? Let me know in the comments below, and give this video a like, and don't forget to hit subscribe too. Number 5. Weird Pentagram. On the dusty steppes of Central Asia, in an isolated corner of Kazakhstan, there's been a rather large pentagram discovered. The pentagram is an ancient symbol used by many non-satanic cultures and also many religious groups. The massive pentagram is carved into the Earth's surface, measuring roughly 1,200 feet in diameter. The creepy five-pointed star, surrounded by a circle, shows up vividly on Google Maps. And it certainly doesn't help that if you zoom into the center of the pentagram, viewers can see two places highlighted by previous visitors to Google Maps. One of the spots is called Adam, and the other is called Lucifer. Kind of weird, right? Multiple comments online linked the site to devil worship, vile religious sects, or dwellers of the underworld. But the real reason for the pentagram turns out to be much less sinister. The star was a popular symbol during the Soviet era and was often used throughout the Soviet Union to decorate monuments, buildings, and flags. There were several online comments that suggested the site is an abandoned Soviet-era campground. The outline of the campground or park, made in the form of a star, is marked by roads that are now lined with trees, making the shape of the star even more distinct in aerial photos. Number 4. Lost Pyramids. Is it wishful thinking that led a self-proclaimed satellite archaeology researcher to find what she believes are two possible undiscovered pyramid complexes in Egypt? Pyramids are usually massive structures, so how is it possible that no one noticed these before? The North Carolina woman was surveying satellite images in the Egyptian desert when she found strange angular mounds clearly evident in the sand. Archaeology experts have a different explanation for the structures, explaining that the structures are not long-lost resting places of ancient pharaohs, but instead eroded buttes or tall, flat-topped, steep-sided towers of rock. These structures form when sediment contains a layer that does not erode easily. The surrounding sediment will still erode around it, leaving the resistant layer on top, which makes the hill flat. But how can we be sure these aren't ancient man-made structures? The strange groupings include 4 distinct structures, including a triangular-shaped building and a square-topped mound. 3 smaller mounds are in a similar configuration to the world-famous pyramids of Giza. With so many new discoveries being made in Egypt every year, naysayers could be wrong. Using high-resolution images, researchers working in Egypt recently discovered up to 17 lost pyramids, nearly 3,000 ancient settlements, and 100 tombs. So, is it possible these strange configurations could also be long-lost Egyptian pyramids? Until someone can go to the location and determine the true origin of these structures, it's more fun to believe they are lost relics of the ancient world, maybe even with untold buried treasure inside. Number 3. Alien Spiral. To viewers using Google Earth, this strange spiral in the Egyptian desert looks like it could be a landing strip for an alien spaceship, or perhaps the portal to a parallel universe. But what people are really seeing in the desolate reaches of the vast desert is, in fact, an environmental art installation, and it's been confusing tourists and those creeping on the planet from home since it was first constructed in March 1997. Alexandra Strateau, Danae Strateau, and Stella Constantinis worked together as a team to design and create the giant 1 million square foot piece of artwork called Desert Breath to celebrate the desert as a state of mind, a landscape of the mind, as they state on their website. There are 2 interlocking spirals, one with vertical cones, the other with conical depressions in the desert floor. The masterpiece was originally designed with a small lake in the center, but as time passed, the lake has emptied. The whole structure is actually slowly disintegrating as the sand that forms the art blows away, filling in the depressions. Now it's been said that the Desert Breath is an instrument to measure the passage of time. Number 2, strange desert structures. You might think that nothing can top the grandeur of the Grand Canyon, but a recent discovery nearby is giving the National Monument a run for its money. Located near a landmark called Vulcan's Throne, a series of strange, barren circles made for a stunning discovery on images studied by a specialist in the satellite imagery at an Italian university. The bizarre circular dirt features were spotted in the desert, first believed to be the work of some very busy sand termites, but turned out to be actually built by local red harvester ants. Known to build nesting mounds almost 4 feet tall, the ants have taken to building these structures near Vulcan's Throne, a volcano on the north rim of the Grand Canyon in Arizona. The structures usually have a large area of bare ground around them, which could be why they look so strange on the satellite images. Not visible on images taken in the region in 2008, it seems the ants were busy building these short but erratically spaced hills. Similar circles found in the Namibian desert, known as fairy circles, have a mysterious reputation as being built by termites. Although the insects are known to feed on the grass roots, scientists still aren't convinced these African rings were the result of the insects working together to build the structures. Instead, they think they may be the result of grasses growing in circles as a response to competition for water. Either way, these striking circular creations stand out when set against the desolate deserts in which they're found. Number 1, the Badlands Guardian. In the province of Alberta in Canada, thousands of years of erosion have left behind a curious geological formation, but you'll have to take to the skies to see it. Known as the Badlands Guardian, the strange, face-shaped feature was discovered by a Canadian woman looking for a dinosaur museum in the province. As she panned around the desolate-looking hills and valleys, she spotted the strange formation, which she thought looked strikingly similar to a First Nations chief wearing a traditional headdress. Located in a remote area, the Badlands are a series of gullies, chasms, sinkholes, and hills created during the Ice Age as glacial waters melted. Wind and heavy rain carved steep slopes and channels, which is how researchers believe the strange facial formation came to be. Nicknamed the Badlands by the first Europeans who settled in the Canadian prairies for the seemingly inhospitable conditions, the area is well known for many dinosaurs discovered there over the years. But the Guardian is an eye-catching face that looks like an indigenous person in profile. Bigger than the heads on Mount Rushmore, it's a naturally breathtaking symbol of the Aboriginal culture. Thanks for watching. What do you think of these unusual things found on Google Earth? Does this make you hopeful that perhaps you can discover something unknown? Let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!